today I'm going to be wrapping up all the books that I read in November. I've currently read 9 books. Today is the 27th, so it is very possible that I may finish one of the other books that I'm currently reading. If so, I will update you. So a few of them have been audiobook. Most of them, though, have actually been physical format this month. I actually haven't listened to too many audiobooks this month. I've been really into like serial killer podcast right now. So I may be taking a turn for December to do some true crime, just because, I don't know, I just get in those true crime moods. And so, we'll see. But regardless, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the very first book that I read this month was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This book was absolutely fantastic. It has gotten me hooked on Jimenez's work. I only have one book left in her book series to complete before I, until next year when her new book comes out. But anyway, I am obsessed with Abby Jimenez's writing. Her romances are just so darn cute. So yes, but anyway, this book I gave it 5 stars. It's super good. It's about, a woman and a man, and so she is driving back from a funeral, and she accidentally swerves off the road to avoid a raccoon and ends up in a ditch, and our handyman comes and rescues her, and then she winds up going to a bar that's in this small town just to get something to eat, and he winds up being there, and they wind up going home together. She actually works as an ER doctor, and he is like the mayor of the town. He runs a B&B. There's like a 2-hour difference, like time difference between them, but she keeps coming back to visit him, and it's so cute. But anyway, she's under a lot of pressure because, number one, she has an emotionally abusive ex, and he actually is trying to take the house that they both owned back from her, and so he actually moved in with her, even though they're not together anymore. He is trying to steal her house. And her parents actually love him. He's a doctor at the hospital that she works at, a surgeon. And her parents wanted her to be a surgeon, but that's not the route that she chose. She chose ER medicine. And then on the other end of things, our other main character's mother is forcing him to open up the B&B in the off time, because if he doesn't raise enough money to put a down payment on this house, she's going to sell it just for the money. So anyway, super cute romance. The tension between them, so cute. I really love their relationship, and overall this book is just amazing. There is a goofy hunting dog, and then there's also a goat that wears pajamas, a baby goat, mind you. So anyway, absolutely love this book, highly recommend it. You should totally check it out. And yeah, it's 400 pages, but I flew through this book in a matter of days. It was just so good. The next book I read, I actually listened to on audio. This is one of my few audiobooks of the month. I saw that Scribd had it, and I decided to go ahead and check it out. So this book is kind of like a campy book, campy horror, with bees involved. I guess it's kind of like a subgenre of like bee horror. Anyway, see what I did there? Bee horror. Okay, I'm done. We follow a character named Mars, and he is deciding to go back to a camp that he swore he would never go back to again, because he is very gender fluid and they don't like that there. But times have changed, or so they say. His sister Caroline came home early from the camp and woke him up in the middle of the night trying to kill him. Like, that's how the story starts out. It starts out with a freaking bang. I was like, whoa, hold on, I don't even know who anybody is yet, and we are getting ready to kill. Anyway, so after the death of his sister Caroline, he decides to get to the bottom of things. She was part of a group at this camp called the Honeys, and so he goes there, and he, over the course of the book, between camping and stuff, he investigates. And there we see creepy bees and people turning into honey. I don't want to give too much away, but it's weird, like very weird. Like for a second, I was like, whoa, hold up. Am I watching like Hereditary or Midsommar with this level of weirdness going on here? Very creepy book. I gave it 4 stars. It was very like, it hooked me right from the start, especially with that grand slam of an opening. I did get confused a couple of times, and it could just be that my audiobook was having some issues. Like, it kept skipping around on me. Like, somebody would send me a text message while I was driving in the car, and it would fast forward. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on? I am so confused. Why are people bees? Anyway, so I finally figured out that it was skipping forward, though, when I backed up. But I really, really enjoyed this book. And plus, look at that cover. It's gorgeous. And then the inside's like a little honeycomb. There's a bee on the naked cover. Ow, I just whacked myself in the nose with the book. I like this. I enjoyed it, and it's definitely worth a read. And yeah, anyway, that's that one. The next book I read was Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. And this actually, I have a review video out. It should be out by the time I post this video. So if you want like a more in-depth review of this book, go check out that video. Yeah, I talk about it a whole lot more than I'm going to talk about it right now. So I gave this book 3.5 stars. It was good, but it was nowhere near what I wanted it to be. Some of the reasons why I didn't like it as much as I wanted to was because we were stuck in flashbacks for like, I don't know, I would almost say half the book. Like, it would go back to the present, and then something would remind our main character of something, and so we'd bounce back to another flashback in the past, showing the sisters in the house and everything. But to summarize the story, it is about the Darker's Nana's 80th birthday, and she was told that she would not live past her 80th birthday. So she's having a party at the Sea Glass, which is this house out on the sea. Like, once the tide comes in, you can't get back and forth between the mainland and her house because the road is covered up with the water, or the gravel road, whatever you want to call it. Only way to get back and forth is by boat. So you're really isolated, and I do like the isolation aspect of this book. But Nana at this party reads her will, and basically she hasn't left anybody any money, and she's going to leave the house to her great-grandchild, Trixie. So nobody who needed the money actually got money. She gave them like petty gifts, like, oh, you get all the clocks, you get the paintbrush, you get this. Anyway, so everybody's a little mad. They go to sleep mad. And then when they wake up in the middle of the night to hear a scream, Trixie has found her grandmother dead on the floor. And then after that, one by one, they keep dying. So it's very similar to Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. And I did see one of the twists coming. I won't say that I saw all the twists coming. And I have seen a lot of reviews where everybody guessed the twist. And I'm like, what did I miss? Am I dumb? But I didn't see the twist coming except the one. So yeah, read it. Let me know what you think. I really enjoyed her work, Rock, Paper, Scissors. So if you're looking for a place to start with Alice Feeney, that's what I would recommend, is Rock, Paper, Scissors. But this book was not bad. I just wanted to have a redeeming character. Like, I only had like one or two. And then I also wanted just not as many flashbacks. Like, the flashbacks towards the end, they made sense because, yeah, this is showing us what happened that caused all this drama. But all the other flashbacks, I don't know, I just wasn't into them. And I felt like I really wanted to be in the present because people were getting killed in the present. And I wanted to see who was going to get killed next. But we kept going back to the past, and I just wanted the story to move forward, basically. Rant over. Still a very good book. 3.5 stars. Alice Feeney has such a way with words, such a way of writing. Like, she can make the most mundane sentence be beautiful. And I just want to highlight everything. So that's why my other book of hers looks like I have tons of tabs from all the quotes in it. The next book I read was Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. As I said, I read a lot of Jimenez this month. This one I gave 4 stars. It was very good, but it did not blow me away like Part of Your World did. This book is about a social media influencer, and she is actually currently taking care of her sister's baby because her sister is going through some things. I won't give too much away there, but she's going through some things. So she's taking care of her sister's baby in an apartment, and the guy next door is a lawyer, and one night he heard the baby screaming, and he came over and he actually helped out with the baby. So it was super cute. There's something about a man taking care of a child that isn't theirs that is just... It was so cute. Their relationship develops from there. You get to see they have a whole lot of fun, but she's worried because all the people, or not all the people, but a lot of the women in her family die young. She is scared that she is getting ALS, which is what her mother didn't die from it because she died from a car crash, but a couple people in her family have died from this ALS. It's a hereditary ALS. So there's not a lot that you can do once you get it, and she doesn't want to go through any kind of treatment because she wants to spend her life the way she wants to her last couple of months. Now, she doesn't have it at the time that this book starts, but she starts having some possible symptoms of it, which is scaring her. So she thinks that this year is going to be her last year. She does wind up falling in love with Adrian, the male, the love interest in this book. And yeah, she's both scared, but she really, really likes him. So it's a super cute book. There is a geriatric chihuahua in here that poops and pees all over the place and has to take tons of medicine. It's a good book. I really like how Jimenez adds in like some kind of animal in each book that she writes because I love it. I mean, I work at a vet office and I just love animals. So anyway, really recommend this book. It was super cute. Yeah, the next book I read was actually the other audiobook that I read for this month, and I don't own it. I do want to own it though because I really enjoyed it, and it is We Spread. I don't know what song I'm going to put this on. We Spread by Ian Reid. If you're unfamiliar with Ian Reid, he actually wrote I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was, oh, that book blew my mind. I actually have it right here, so look at this. Look at all these pretty tabs. This book is fantastic. I actually have read it twice. And the first time I read it, I was like, WTF, what did I just read? But once I got down to the deeper meaning, I absolutely loved it. And so knowing what happens in this book and reading it a second time, I feel like is essential. It's a short read. It's only like 180 pages? No, 210. It's only 210 pages. It's not a long book. So if you read it once and you're confused, go into it a second time knowing the things that you know, and the story makes so much more sense. I'm not talking about this book though. What am I doing? I'm getting off subject. That's what I'm doing. Go in there, Ian Reid. The book I am talking about is We Spread by Ian Reid, and this is his newest release. It just came out this year. This book is about a woman who has always lived with a partner. They never got married. But he was an artist and she was an artist, and unfortunately he passed away, and she's elderly and she's trying to live on her own, but unfortunately it doesn't go the way that she planned. She winds up falling and they find her in her apartment. She's not dead, thankfully, but she's injured, so they take her to the hospital. They get her fixed up, and then unbeknownst to her, she's going to like a nursing home, or it's more like a living facility. Apparently she and her partner picked out a long time ago, but she has no recollection of picking out this place. So she goes to the place, and at first it seems like paradise. Like she's sleeping good, she's eating good, she feels better than she has in months. But weird things start happening. Like the staff is acting a bit weird. There's like 3 other people in this facility, and it's like a very small facility. Like it's only 4 people in total besides like the 2 people who run it. And so it's just a very odd place. It's almost like it's too good to be true. So weird things start happening, and this book is very good, but it's also a little confusing because she's a very unreliable narrator. We'll see like days passed and she thinks she's only slept one night, or months will pass and she thought it was just 20 minutes. So it's hard. It's not hard to follow along. It's just hard to keep track of what's real and what's not real for her. And so I do like that aspect of it though, because I like having an unreliable narrator. It makes you really question what's right, what's wrong. And so my take on it is that she's suffering from like dementia or Alzheimer's, and it's affecting her view on both the facility itself and she's hallucinating some. That's my take on it. I don't know if that's the true take. It's kind of like one of those open books that you can interpret your own way. Really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars. It's super short. I think it's only like 5 or 6 hours on audiobook, probably around 200 pages. Ian Reid tends to keep his books short, which I like because it really drives the point home. The next book I read was Sign Here by Claudia Lux. I actually did a really good job of keeping to my TBR this month while adding in some other books. So far, I only have not read 2 books that are on my TBR, and that's Kill Creek, which I'm currently reading, and then The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I started, but I decided to stop it for now because I'm just not in the mood for it, I guess. Sometimes I just have to be the right book, the right time, and right now it's not the right time for this book. But yes, Sign Here by Claudia Lux. This book is about, at first I thought it was about a demon, but I guess you technically don't consider our character a demon. He's just a man who made a deal and he got sent to hell. He is trying to get out of hell. And there is apparently some kind of secret clause that if you cash in 5 souls in your family line, you get out of hell. And so this is what he's striving to do. He only needs 1 more soul to get out. And so the book follows not only that man's storyline, but it also follows the story of the family that he's trying to steal the soul of. Really interesting book. I gave it 4 stars. There were some things I wasn't a huge fan of. Like, I don't know, I just expected, I guess, a little bit of a different book, but I still enjoyed it. I can't really put into words what I didn't like about it, so it's probably just a me thing. I don't think it's this book thing at all. But yeah, so we follow him, but a lot of the story, honestly, isn't him focusing on this family. It's him making deals with other people, and we see the life that he has down there. And I don't know if you want to call it befriends, but he meets this other woman down there that he doesn't really like, but they work together. So yeah, it's just kind of cool to see both sides of the coin. And then the family, they're all sorts of jacked up. There's the wife's having an affair. The husband is reliving the glory days. The kids are having issues. So it's just a really deep book about like family and what it means. And I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, so you should check it out and see if you like it and go from there. The next book I read was the Happily Ever After playlist, and this book was included in my reading vlog, or well, kind of included in my reading vlog since my vlog decided to disappear into thin air. Anyway, so yes, the Happily Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. For some reason, I am reading Jimenez backwards, and I'm starting at the very last book and working my way towards the first book. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I don't know, it's me. Anyway, but this book was super cute. It is about a woman whose fiance 2 years ago died in a car crash. Like, he didn't die in the car crash itself. He lasted a month and then he passed away in the hospital. But the car crash obviously caused fatality. So every year she goes to his grave and visits it, and she just kind of have like a sad day, which she hasn't been herself ever since he passed away. On her way to his gravesite, a dog jumps in front of her car and winds up jumping into her car via the sunroof, and she winds up getting a ticket for stopping in the middle of traffic for no reason. She sees that the dog has a collar. She tries to call the owner never responds, and 2 weeks later she decides this dog's gonna be mine. And of course our owner gets back into a cellular device area and he wants his dog back. So they spend the next couple weeks talking. Like, at first she's like, I'm not giving you your dog back. You obviously don't love him. He was just wandering around the city. But they strike up conversation and they wind up forming like a deep connection. And so once he gets back into the USA, he takes her on a date, and from there their relationship evolves. He's actually a famous singer, and she is actually like, she used to write like a cooking blog that he really enjoyed and didn't even realize it was her. So anyway, they find out some stuff about each other. And so the first half of this book is them coming together, and then the second half, he has to go on tour, and she winds up coming along with him, and it's not the life that she expected, and there's a whole lot of relationship drama, yada yada yada. So I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was just super good, super cute. And I love how Jimenez has a dog or some kind of animal in each of her books. The next book I read was an arc. Heck yeah, I finished an arc. And it was A House of Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. I did it. I finished it, and it was so good. It's not a very long book. I think it's like 256 pages. And it follows a woman named Samantha, and her mother's acting strange. Her brother had called her, said, hey, mom's acting strange, you should go check on her. So Samantha has some flexibility at her work. She's like an entomologist who also, like, she's at like dig sites, she'll look at the bugs and be able to tell what kind of bugs they are, around what year they were put in the dirt, yada yada yada. So anyway, so she's currently going and like cataloging certain things, so she's able to work from home. So she goes to visit her mother, and not everything is as it seems. Her mother has actually redecorated the house to look just like when her grandmother used to be there. And their grandmother was a very overbearing, over-controlling lady that nobody liked. She was not a nice lady at all. And then her mother starts like not letting them cuss, and weird things are happening, like paint or pictures are falling off the wall. She looks in one picture that was her graduation picture, and she sees in the background in the rose bush, like right underneath it, there's a hand coming out of the ground. She finds teeth in a jar in the backyard. Like tons of creepy things start happening in this book, and she's trying to explain it away, but she's not able to eventually. And so this book kind of mixes like your Southern Gothic horror, haunted house mixed with otherworldly creatures. So I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. It is such a good book. I love T. Kingfisher's works. I've read The Hollow Places. I've read the Hollow Ones. The Twisted Ones, and I've also read What Moves the Dead. And I really like how Kingfisher is able to blend horror and humor together to make both a spooky yet hilarious read. So check it out. It's coming out early next year, and it is totally worth your read. The last book I officially finished in November is Mary, An Awakening of Terror. This was also a book that I read for my 24-hour reading vlog. But I didn't wind up finishing it. I only got like 70 pages in. So I continued my vlog the next day, which it's in my video. And I actually finished this book in a couple of hours. And this book was really good. It is about a woman who is going through menopause, or I think it was like premenopause. There was a fancy word for it. But this woman's going through that. And, oh, I don't think I said the author's name. Nat Cassidy, which I thought was a woman, but it's a man. But that's okay. It was still a really good book. I just did not realize that it was a man until I started reading some Goodreads reviews. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So she just lost her job, and she gets a call from her estranged aunt, and her estranged aunt is dying. So she wants our main character, Mary, to come and take care of her. And she swears she'll pay her. When Mary gets there, she finds that her aunt really doesn't have any money, and that her aunt's chihuahua is a little demon child. So she winds up taking care of her, but Mary's kind of unhinged at the moment. Like, people start going missing around her. Like, there's a case where one of her former bullies goes missing around her, and then a kid goes missing around her. And so she starts to think that, what if I am killing these people and I don't know it? So there's ghost aspects, there's cult aspects, there's all sorts of aspects in this book. This book took a lot of turns that I did not see coming. Like, I saw certain things coming, but did not see all of the things coming. I did enjoy this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's a very gripping read. It could have been just a little bit shorter, but I was still like sucked in. My only complaint about this book really was, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I was reading about a 50-year-old. I'm not 50. I'm not saying that 50-year-olds can't be like young spirited, but it just felt like Mary had just like a childish view of life, and maybe that's because of what she went through, and I am totally okay with that. I didn't see any other like complaints about that, so that just might be a me thing. But I don't know, she just felt a little immature to me, but I think that is probably supposed to be on purpose. I'm not sure. It was just, I just felt like, oh, you don't sound like you're 50. And not that I'm saying 50-year-olds have to sound old, but I don't know. She just didn't feel 50 to me. So that's my only complaint, but it's probably supposed to be that way and I'm just dumb. And I'm currently reading Kill Creek and also Set on You, which is an ebook, which I'll throw up there really quick. But Kill Creek so far is super good. I am so hooked. This book actually has really beautiful writing. And I was reading like the author's note. This author was actually like a writer for some Cartoon Network shows, and now he's writing a freaking creepy book. So I don't know, that just cracked me up. But I'm really enjoying this book. I may finish it before the end of November. I'm not sure. We only have like, what, 2 days left. So I don't know if I'll finish it in November or not, but I just wanted to mention that I am reading that and then Set on You. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast talking about all the books that I read in September, all the books that I read in November, and I'll be putting out what I plan to read for December pretty soon. So thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. It means a lot.